Well, there's a first for everything here on Race First. Actually, we have done taxi cabs before. We did super late models. And we did Brazilian stock cars. And we've done some BMW touring cars. But for the first time ever here on Race First, we're going to dip our toe into the fun world of NASCAR trucks with the ISRA Truck Series. Just a fun series, a fun group of guys. And we're just going to be throwing it up here on Race First to give them something to watch after the race here. It's a very laid-back evening, and it should be a very laid-back season right now. We got over 15 cars in the lineup right now. And joining me in the booth this season, all season long, is a former Indy Fixed Series champion, my teammate Mark Murphy. Mark, you've done more time in these trucks than I have. We won't get super technical, but it's going to be a pack race, going to be a draft race, and you talked about a couple things about keeping these cars, or these trucks, actually. I'll add another nickel to the jar here every time I say that. Talking about these things possibly overheating and that type of thing. So when we are in these tight drafting packs, they're going to have to give each other a little bit of room.
Yeah, so Gary, these trucks can push, they can lock up, they can do the old school tandem draft. The flip side of that is they can't do it very long. I was in a race here in the American Motorsport Association truck league that I run with my friends at Black Magic Designs, and we discovered you can really only push for a couple of laps. Now, for those couple of laps, you can absolutely lock up and go to the front. You can pull away from people, but then the second car has to pull out of line, or the second truck, my nickel, the second truck has to get out of line because you will overheat the thing. The other part of that is you have to be very careful when you do it and how you lock up, because you will damage the front of these things. And aerodynamics, absolutely important in these cars, almost as important as they are in an Indy car. By the way, I still, no matter how much I run these, cannot get used to having a roof over my head and fenders over the wheels. It's always it always takes me a minute or two to realize what I'm doing.
I found, and it sounds weird when I tell people this, but I found that these of kind of if you're jumping into any other vehicle on the sim that's not a high downforce sports car, Formula One car, that if you go from an Indy car to one of these things, it's remarkably fun. It's remarkably fun. They don't drive identical, but there's some similar things. And certainly, especially when you do the DW12s a lot, which we cover a lot here on Race First, no tools. It's just your left hand, right hand, left foot, right foot, and your eyes are pretty much guiding what you see. And that if you are good in a DW12, you might actually do pretty well in these trucks.
It's true. The biggest difference between an Indianapolis car and one of these trucks,
besides the wings,
besides the wings and the general shape and the fact that one of them is 60 miles an hour faster, is that these trucks, and indeed all NASCAR vehicles, have power steering.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the vehicles that we race don't. And so it's the one adjustment that I find most difficult, is that when you step into a stock car, a truck, or Xfinity car. I don't drive the Cup cars very much, but when you step into one, steering feels incredibly light. I just ran an 85 lapper at Pocono.
Mm-hmm.
And physically, I have a Fanatec Podium direct drive.
Oh yeah, your forearms probably hurt pretty good.
My forearms and shoulders are physically tired.
Yeah.
These guys can run the 70 laps here with one hand on the wheel. It's not physically demanding. Mentally, and this is kind of where the similarity comes in for me, Gary, mentally, it's just as challenging doing this as it is to racing, let's say, at Michigan in an Indy car. Very similar mentally. But physically, these guys are going to have a lot nicer of a time. And yeah, I'm pretty tired.
All right. Well, we got qualifications done, and let's get the starting lineup taken care of here momentarily. Let's bring it up on the screen. Get rid of all these other graphics. Get the starting grid here. Come on, there we go. Josh Tucker on the pole with a 52.3. P2 is David Rodriguez. P3, Dean Mole. P4, Cristobal Valenzuela. P5, Michael Goodman. P6, Alex Goyon. Moving on forward on back, Hugo Gallas. Seeing him up front with the trucks. This guy I've raced against many times. Good to see him there. P7, Matt Wagner. Saw him last night finish P2 in the Dark Horse Series. Starting 8th tonight. Ron Hacker 9th. Lionel Callisto 10th. Mike Rigney, the host with the most. P11, Sam Crow. P12. Lewis Hayes 13th. Drew White 14th. Big George Alonzando, George of the Jungle here, P15. Michael Gray, 16. Christopher Reagan, 17th. Chris Fowler, 18th. And Richie Hearn, yes, that is the former IndyCar driver Richie Hearn in the trucks with us tonight, starting 19th on the grid. And Richie has a little bit of a internet connection issue, so he's not really sure how bad he's going to be blinking, so he's going to be starting at the back. Hopefully it doesn't become a problem for him, but had a puppy chew through his internet cable.
Oh no, that's of all the things that you could have happen in your rig. And to be fair, I have 3 small children, so about anything that can be spilled or chewed through or yanked out as far as a cord goes has happened to me, and so definitely sympathize with Richie. I'm sure he'll get that fixed. It is not pace laps are pretty long, so if he's got a spare. If he's got a spare laying around, he's still be.
Yeah, he bought a new one. It said it'll be available. He'll get it like Wednesday, but he said it was like $157 because he's got one of those satellite internet connections. He's kind of out in the sticks a little bit, and that was pretty painful. I'm like, oh, okay. I said you should have got 2 and 1 for a spare because you know how puppies are. They're just going to do it again at some point.
But we had a cat. I had a cat when I was growing up, Gary, that would chew through electrical cords, and my dad was amazed because the cat would chew through an electrical cord and never get shocked. Could never figure it out. None of the lamps worked in the house, but that's a different story. Anyway.
Yeah, last cat story before we get going halfway down the backstretch here. We got a field of 19 trucks. This is a nice showing for the guys. Thanks for all of them showing up. Fixed Indy 500. We were just talking about my first fixed Indy 500 in the pre-race. One of my cats obviously knew that I have not been around a while and wanted attention. In the middle of a race, I'm in VR, so I have no attention of my surroundings whatsoever, what's going on. And she jumps right up on my lap in the middle of the race, right when I'm fighting other drivers too. And yeah, that scared the crap out of me, and I think it's probably scared the crap out of her as my hands start waving, madly waving to get her off my lap, sitting there in VR. But yeah, pets in VR, and they always have the worst timing of either going through cables or jumping on your lap in the middle of a race.
That's true. I haven't had that experience. I have had the experience of my oldest son likes to watch my feet when I road race.
Okay.
And so I have had the experience of him laying under the pedals.
Oh, wow.
And being
green flag in the
We're
air.
going green. Here we go. The thing to watch for here, Gary, is which line is going to get organized, which line is going to get that good push to start. But right now we're seeing the top is kind of a little bit more organized than the bottom, although everything's going to accordion back together. If you get that good push off the start, though, you might be able to nudge a guy out in front. They're all going to come back together. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, single file. Looks like we've got the 61, is it, to the outside? 51, Drew White. Thought about making it 3 wide. Thought better of it. But that's going to be the key here. Which line can get more organized? And Gary, there's not really an advantage because the tires don't wear out. There's not really an advantage to top or bottom here. It's just
track temp is only there. It is, first one already.
We get a spinner.
And that is David Rodriguez, I believe.
He's going to get spun out of the lead. He's going to go through the grass. He saved it.
He saved it, but that's going to cost him because we are not cautioned.
Oh, we didn't get the yellow, and he's going to be. Golly, he's going to be quite a ways behind. Now, when you lose the draft here, he's going to get lapped in about. He's going to get lapped in about 7 to 8 laps. They're going to be on him. I don't know if we've got lucky dogs here. he's already 9 seconds behind. He's going to lose about 4 seconds a lap to the back, to 5 seconds. He's going to be a lap down.
How about one of these guys in the back throwing him a lifeline and going back there and helping him? Is it still good enough with 2 cars or not fast enough? 2 trucks.
You really need at least 3,
okay.
Preferably 4. It's kind of one of those things where the way the package is, the more you have together, the better. That's why you see, in real life, you'll see, guys, especially on pit stop cycles, where they get hung and there's maybe 2 of them. Yeah, 2 is faster than 1, but 15 are faster than 2. But you really need at least 3, if not 4 or more, to keep up with them, in my experience.
Well, Cristobal Valenzuela and Matt Wagner at the point, both taking opportunities to lead momentarily, that time by Wagner at the line. It's Wagner, Valenzuela, Tucker, Goyon, Mall, Crow, Goodman, White, Callisto, Gallas, your top 10.
We're going to see that yo-yo effect, too. I don't know how good these guys are at side drafting. Most of them, as you know, Gary, are open wheel guys. But see kind of a yo-yo effect. One line will move a little bit. The guy at the front of the other line will get a good side draft, get a nice pull, suck right back up as we see the 12 of Matt Wagner go back to the lead, just drives right around Cristobal Valenzuela. But you're going to see that effect all night. You're going to see one line move, next guy, the other line is going to get a nice side draft, going to get a bump, you're going to go right back by him, and then the other line will be leaving the strike. It's very difficult to clear yourself in front and kind of do that old Dale Earnhardt Jr. play both sides of the street type.
Right. Well, 5 of 70. We're doing only a 125 miler tonight. That's the race distance for all the races this season, 125 miles. This is a fun league, the ISRA Truck Series. Coming soon. They'll be doing a little DW12 racing. We'll be covering that as well here on Race First.
I'm just amazed. I didn't think I'd ever see Josh Tucker in anything that had a, and here he is. He's up here running, second, third, depending on the lap.
I like the combination of trucks that still have Camping World stickers on them and Craftsman stickers on them.
I think that might depend on when they bought it. It might depend on when you downloaded the truck. We got a blinker kind of toward the back. That's number 70. That
is Richie Hearn.
Well, yeah, maybe the well, if he's
Hearn's up 8 spots though, so he's doing what he has to do.
No, I wonder, he might be a guy that has most real world experience at this. Not in cup cars or stock cars or anything like that. He's raced in Indianapolis in the modern cars.
Yeah, he has two top 10 finishes in Indy 500.
Memory serves, he was the original driver for Sam Schmidt, if memory serves. But the other one which is now Team McLaren. But if memory serves, he was in some of the Hanford device kart races.
Yes. And driving for Della Penna, and that was specifically one year they got the Budweiser sponsorship for a couple seasons actually.
Yeah, so if you're looking at comparison to open wheel stuff, a Hanford device kart race, if you want to go watch the 2000 Michigan 500 with Juan Montoya and Michael Andretti.
Oof, yeah.
It's probably the most similar thing that you could relate from an open wheel to this is those Champ Car Hanford device races, or maybe
let's explain if everyone's watching and doesn't understand what the Hanford device is. It's actually a piece that attaches to the rear wing and causes additional drag and punches a larger hole in the air.
Yeah, and so what it did was it created massive drafts without sacrificing any speed. Gilles de Ferran set the world close course record in a Hanford device car. Reinhardt had a Hanford
at California. coming to complete 8 of 70, going to 9 of 70. And one being pretty well behaved right now. Let's check on David Rodriguez, see where he is. He is in the middle of the backstretch, getting to about turn 3 right about now. He is looking for a caution.
Yeah, so when we called that, he was originally 9 seconds behind. As of now, he is 35 seconds behind, so they're going to catch him in 3, maybe 4 laps tops here.
Well, they are pushing each other like mad right now down the super straight.
Super stretch.
Super stretch. It's straight.
Well, to be fair, I don't know if it's super anymore. They took the grandstands and the short track out back there. I don't know how super it is anymore, to be honest with you.
I saw some pictures last week. It looked pretty well super flooded.
Well, there's a lake over there.
Yeah. Even the standing groundwater was pretty bad, yeah.
If I'm thinking right, that's about the only thing they don't race in Daytona is boats. And don't tell the France family that, because they'll try to have a boat race. Those billboards you see them driving past, for those of you out there, if you don't remember, there used to be about an 80,000 seat grandstand.
Yeah, yeah. If I remember right, did it parts of either Stewart or Earnhardt's car fly up into the stands one time when they got flipped on their hood up there?
I remember a hood going up there. I don't recall whose it was.
Yeah, I don't think there were any super serious injuries, but yeah, there used to be grandstands back. Of course, long time ago. If we're sitting here talking about Indy cars, 1959, IndyCar came here one time, and to quote Joe Piscopo and Johnny Dangerously, once. Little bit of a hairy race for the USAC boys at the time, and they said that they would not come back until there was some greater safety features involved. And that was too bad because France Senior, Papa France, already scheduled a second race July 4th weekend, and CART said, or not CART actually, it's USAC Champ Car said, we're not coming back. So we needed to fill that date, and that later became the Firecracker 400.
Is very true. Now, I'm looking at the windshield of Cristobal Valenzuela, and he is going to catch David Rodriguez probably in the next couple of laps. Gary, if you show the in-cars, they head down the Daytona super stretch coming out of turn 2. There's the pit exit cone. You can see the much more slowly moving automobile. David Rodriguez
larger and larger and larger. Very quickly.
Just for comparative purposes, Cristobal Valenzuela doing 183 miles an hour right now. David Rodriguez, who I am sure is flat out, the top speed of these trucks without a draft is 171. So it's going to get interesting when they get to him, which is going to happen here very, very soon. Maybe as quickly as the backstretch here as they all sail off into turn 1. David Rodriguez is going to be able to have an effect here on which line leads, because whichever way he goes, that line's going to get the draft. Here he goes. Now he's going to stay high. David, very smart. He's going to stay high. He's going to let the field file underneath him. Keep it up against the wall, David.
Oh, the Triple Eight and George exchanged a little bit of rubbing there.
There we go. Now, 10 is going to be able to fall in line. He'll be able to catch the tail end of the draft, and as inevitable contact ensues, there's likely going to be a yellow here. He'll get the wave around. Get the wave around. He'll be all right. There are several guys out here who feel like they're following the cause of the caution at this point.
Well, four sets of tires I have actually. That's 4 sets of tires. And you talked about this. This is not very hard on the tires right now. Track Tim's only 79, ambient 77. So they have a set on the car and 3 in the pits. They could actually probably just come in and top off their tanks really if they do a green flag stop and not have to worry about tires on their first stop. Is that kind of the thought now? Because I think we got to start thinking about that first stop. It's not very close, but you got to start thinking about it.
That's true. Now, we kind of talked about that. Yeah, they've got 4 sets. No, you don't really need tires. It doesn't really affect it one way or another whether you take tires or not. Most guys will elect to take them just because you can change them faster than you can fuel the thing, and you're going to run the tank dry. There's no reason not to run it dry. We see the 10 out back. You don't want to lose the draft. So,
there we
big
go.
shot, big wreck.
There we go. There we go. And we are going to be cautioned on the speedway as trucks are going.
1, 2, 3, 4. How many got collected there? 4, 5, 6 cars, trucks. Another nickel.
Ron Hacker. Rodriguez, I think, made it through. Hearn was involved. Hacker was involved. Alex Guyan was involved, and his engine is smoking. He needs to very gingerly get that back to the pits and then execute the fast repair. There's one fast repair. Chris Fowler was involved. Lewis Hayes, I don't think was involved. He looks pretty clean. Christopher Reagan looks pretty clean. Mike Rigney looking clean there as well. Sam Crow. Jungle George is good. Michael Gray is good. Okay, so pretty much Fowler on back is showing, I think, some damage. So 15 on back. And let's hope Alex can get in. And I think his engine may have already expired. Can he get to his stall and then get the fast repair?
Oh, let's see. He's in his stall. He's made it. Or maybe he towed.
No, he rolled. We watched him roll in. It's possible that he didn't have the fast repair enabled. I know some guys also by default kind of uncheck that.
Yeah, he's going to want to use it. The 8 and the 08 kind of triggered that whole deal, and that's part of restrictor plate stuff in these cars.
Well, let's go back in the Wayback Machine a little bit here, and let's take a look what happened one more time, and get an idea of. I'm gonna go back here and rewind here. Okay, and you're talking about the 8 and the 08. So 8 is Alex Guyan, and the 08 is Guyan, excuse me, and the 8 is Sam Crow. Let's get it from the Race First One airship from above. And tell us what you think, what you see here, what happened.
So the 8 of Sam Crow is going to give a shot to Alex Guyan. Going down the back, he's going to give him a shot. He's going to bump him up. And ideally, Guyan would hit... Guyan is going to hit Matt Wagner. Well, Matt Wagner was pulled down to get a side draft off of the 33 of Cristobal Valenzuela. And so they weren't square.
Well, the 88, 888 was in that as well. The 6 looks like he got some body damage as well. Just seeing all sorts of contact. Yeah,
that's where it all starts. The 8 hits the 08 to knock him into Matt Wagner, and then they're not centered, and because they can't get off each other now, they start wrecking, and then that triggers a massive accident, and we've got 7 or 8 trucks involved. Alex Guyan has just disconnected, by the way. Electing to no longer continue, electing to not continue with his race.
And looks like Ron Hacker is out, so 17 trucks remaining. We'll go through the field here.
That's a tactical thing to not use your fast repair if you don't have to.
Right.
Tactical decision. We're 17 laps into a 70-lap race, Gary. If I had damage that could be repaired without going a lap down, still be able to keep up in the draft,
right?
Bet your bottom dollar I wouldn't use that thing. They're going to wreck again. It's just a matter of that's the style of racing. We just saw it. You can't get off each other when they start banging off each other and bump drafting in that pack. There's going to be an accident at some point, and so I would try to save it if I could. The 21's coming out of pit lane, and he's going to go a lap down here, it looks like.
Okay, so Ron Hacker is back. So he might have jumped out of the session momentarily, got back in. So Hacker is back. He's going to go down 2 laps now to the field.
Right, but with Guy on the only car a lap down or the only truck a lap down, I now owe you 15 cents. Him being the only truck laps down, you get another caution, and he can avoid contact. Of course, gets one of those back. 50 to go. When we go back green, I don't see any reason why we won't have at least a couple of more. Just again, not any patch on the talent of these guys, more of just commentary on the package and the way they race. We're going to see cautions. He gets back on the lead lap. All good.
So I was, and we're getting ready to go green. We're lining up. I believe we're going to do. We're not doing any stage racing, but we are going to have NASCAR restart rules. So we will line up in lines 2x2 here for the restart. Lights are out on the pace truck. Everybody's kind of getting back in position. Maybe some folks are gun shy this time. not really wanting to be up front like they were last time. Like, I want to be in the back. What is there to say about those that just going to hang out in the back and have all the action happen in front of them? That's something I would do with these type of trucks. I would just hang out until like the last quarter of the race and still have a fast repair, hopefully, and then go for it.
So that's a great question, Gary. There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to hide. Yes, we're moving 60 miles an hour slower than you and I are used to. However, it's still 180 miles an hour. You're right on top of each other. The other thing is, and George kind of alluded to this in practice, you can't see. You really have a lot less visibility in these trucks than you would in IndyCar or Formula One car, for example. You can't see around the truck in front of you at all. You sure as heck can't see through them. All you can see is the top of that goofy spoiler, as Dale Jr. says. That's it. You can't really, don't have that much spatial awareness. So if they start wrecking in front of you, there's no way to see through it, kind of, especially if it's on straightaway. Now in the corners, the way you kind of look down into your left a little bit. But if you're on a straightaway, you can't see what's happening at all. You just see something.
Well, next time we have a next caution, we'll bring some people up into the booth to talk about some in-car interviews. Figured this time we would let everyone kind of settle down, figure out their what they want to do for their strategy on their first caution. But 20 of 70, everyone stopped. I know that people have changed tires. Now, I don't know who all... actually, I take it back. I don't know who all has actually changed tires, because that's the overlay does not give me that information, but it does tell me everyone stopped, and I'm assuming they got fuel.
I can tell you that everybody up front did. My race lab shows everybody up front is on their second set of tires.
Okay.
So my guess is they all changed them. We're going to see something here that you see at restrictor plate races. Your time is on the bottom, seems to be very organized. They're not really side drafting that hard. We might see just kind of a single file, hey, let's everybody get in line and chill out for a minute type deal. Moving forward. The other thing is that caution.
Oh, yeah, good. Cristobal down the backstretch, getting a shot out of the cannon here. Cristobal on the high side in that 33. Got a good run off the banking of 2. Going to have some help. That might be Goodman right behind him. Yes.
We got caution on the speedway.
And that is George. That is Richie Hearn again.
You're hoping them guys didn't use their fast repair, but that's kind of the same
I think it's
deal.
only two trucks involved there.
We might have 3. It looks like the 51 might have. Drew White might have gotten a little piece of the 6 as he went by.
All right.
They have, but yeah, George Alonso and the 70 of Richie Hearn definitely got the worst of that business. Just appears to be the same kind of a thing. Just a bump draft and then another bump draft, and guys start turning loose. You got to be careful about that for sure.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and bring up our leader real quick, Matt Wagner, into the booth. If I can bring him up. Maybe not. Move to... I can't. Interesting enough. We might have to fix that for the next race, unless you can do it, Mark.
No, I can move him to rooms 1, 2, and 3, and I can move him to away from keyboard, but I cannot move him into.
All right, so we'll have to fix that for next time. Next time, folks, we'll have the colorful, more color commentary during cautions. Right now, under caution, lap 22 of 70, coming to 23. Under caution, like I said, Matt Wagner is going to pit road, and he's going to relinquish the track position of being the leader, and he is going to come down and probably just top off the tanks, I would imagine. We're watching the number 12 making its way down pit road. Also, again, the 57 at 2. I believe we also have Rodriguez in as well. I think I saw the Arizona T truck. And I believe new tires for Wagner. Down and away. So that's interesting. Only 6 laps on that last set, and it says he's changed it, so he's now down to 3 sets of tire. He's 3 of his 4 sets have been used.
It's very true.
Maybe he knows what he's doing. This is just a fun league, folks, though.
And tires don't really. I mean, and that's the thing. Tires don't really matter all that much. So, I would, we had guys that ran full 100 laps here on one set. The race that I was in with AMA.
Oh, so. And I'm looking in chat, and exactly what we thought with Alex. Forgot to check back the fast repair. 38 minutes started before I realized it. So he had 38 minutes worth of repairs that needed to be taken on his truck. So he decided that it was just easier to punch out rather than watch that 38 minutes of cars going around or trucks going around in circles. All right, so we're getting reset. We'll see what's going on here. Dean Mall is now classified as your leader, followed by Cristobal Valenzuela. Cristobal has been up there all night long, showing a lot of patience. And I tell you what, being at the front of these pack races is not a lot of fun sometimes. And he is showing a lot of resolute up there. Josh Tucker, he is up to 3rd. Goodman now is 4th. Rigney in the 80 is up to 5th. Reagan 6th, Hayes in 7th, Rodriguez, he's back on the lead lap, and after getting spun out there in the opening lap, really, he's back to 7th. We know he's fast. Lewis Hayes right behind him, and Michael Gray and Hugo Gallas rounding out your top 10. Other cars are getting in formation. Real quick program note, join us tomorrow night. It will still at 7:15 for at least a couple more weeks for the IndyCar Oval Series Top Split. And that's now on Tuesday nights, and that'll be myself, another former Lionheart racer, Stephen Larkamp, and Justin Petschauer and myself will be calling the action at the season ender at Michigan. You going to be in that one? I'm sure you are.
No, I might show up. Michigan is by far, everybody that runs an IndyCar always wants to run Indianapolis, and everybody always, more than anything else, you want to win in Indianapolis. But for pure fun, for pure excitement, for pure joy of racing that car, Michigan is where you want to be. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely some of the most fun racing you'll ever see. You'll see guys, especially with the new setups this year, that have been done by Brandon Trainer, Robert Malechka, and some others. You're going to see guys 3, 4, 5 wide all the way around the circuit. You can race that car legitimately 4 wide there. It's incredible, and so I'm looking forward to it. As much as wild as it is to go 240 miles an hour 4 wide, if you get the right group of people, and I'm sure we'll have it, it's also incredibly safe, believe it or not. We're getting ready to go back to green. Dean Mole going to lead them off here.
Dean on the bottom in the 31, so go right ahead. Go right ahead.
There goes the 888 all the way to the outside, going to make it 3 wide right at the line. I was going to say, you were asking me about where it's safe. Safest place to be is in the lead.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're the 31 or the 33 here, that's the safest place on the racetrack. It's not hanging out back with George. It's up at the front, because if you're up at the front, everything happens behind you. Although we're about ready to see the third lane. Michael Gray is going to make it 3 wide. He's got some help from Drew White and Lionel Callisto up there. They're going to make it 3 wide, and now Paul is in the most dangerous position on the racetrack. That's the sucker hole. That's the middle, and he has no help. Easily enough, he's going to be able to hang there probably, but it is dangerous. These trucks move around, Gary. And
yeah, we're watching them dance right now. A lot of people are like, why can't they hold their line? They're trying their best to hold their line. It's tough.
Air will move these trucks one lane back and forth when you're where Crystal is. It is incredibly difficult to hold line, especially in the corners, the way the air moves them around. So kudos to him, hanging tough. With no help, he's fixing to go to the back here. It's pretty short order, unless they let him down.
He could do it now if he wants to. He's thinking about it. He is clear.
Now he's going to take the side drive and try to go back to the lead. Mike could have just put my truck right there instead but not Cristobal. He's going to try to hang up there. Maybe thinking, the guys that are third, fourth in line there. Now he's going to he's going to get it on the top. And on the top. He's slotted in behind Lionel Castillo.
I tell you what, these Backfire Motorsports guys, we've seen them operate an IndyCar in this in the Lionheart series before. I did not know they were pretty sharp in these trucks, but two of them, two former drivers. I don't think they're racing under that banner tonight, but two of their drivers that we've seen in the Lionheart series, Valenzuela 4th and Hugo Gallas 10th. Just two of their drivers riding in the top 10. And it's not like that they just all of a sudden popped there. They've been there all night long.
That's something that you mentioned, teammates, former teammates, etc. Just perusing the Discord here, we've got 2, 4, 6, 7 guys in one room, and we've got 5 other guys in another room. So these boys are talking to each other, Gary. They're absolutely talking to one another. There's communication going on up and down this field, and that's a huge weapon in these races. If you have 2 or 3 guys that are around you and you can talk to them, it is an incredible weapon in these races. Maybe more powerful than being an excellent driver just in its own right.
Ooh. Looks like that was that we're on Hacker in the 21. Yeah, I got a little squirrely through the tri-wheel, but he's good to go. Saved it.
You do get light through there, especially if you've got somebody pushing you. You really only can do the hard bump draft down the straightaways. You can push if you're locked together through the corners, if you're good and centered. But if you hit somebody in the tri-oval, it gets extremely light. Not as bad as Talladega, but it still does get extremely light.
$29 of 70. Everybody covered by a blanket at the moment. 9/10 of a second back to Goodman. Oh, it's 1st through 13th right there. Oh. 888 comes up a little bit on Valenzuela. Valenzuela takes the face, actually goes a little bit higher. Gives him room. That high side again, getting momentum, built back up. That's the new word I've heard, and when we talking about stock car racing, when they're talking about getting energy, building up energy. Very, very, I guess apropos is that getting that top line, getting the momentum rolling.
Well, you see it right now. So you see the 33. He gets a nice push from the 19. He's got the 38 with him. They're going to go take the lead right now. And that's because you got three trucks that are you got three trucks that are in close concert with one another. They get kind of locked together. They get a good shot. They go to the lead. They've got the energy. Now the bottom, in that accordion, too, gets kind of the side draft. He's going to get a good shot from the 88, maybe too good of a shot. Got him kind of loose, but now they're going to go back in front. Now watch. 33 is going to get a good side draft here. He's going to get a shot from the 19. And they're going to go right back toward the front. The energy is now on the top, and that's where the energy is. Now, if Lionel Castillo was an accomplished stock car racer, which no reason to believe he's not, but you'll see accomplished stock car racers anticipate that and jump up in front of that run to kill him. Play both sides of the street.
Gotcha.
Not seeing that right. We're not seeing that right now. Again, 32 laps in a 70 lap event, but that's the energy you're looking at. So it just kind of, and it's kind of an accordion. So now you see the 2 and the 888. They're going to go to the front. Top's disorganized. Now the top is all really close together, right? They got 4 trucks really close together. Team pushing, 38 pushing.
Coming to halfway here soon.
There's a side draft. So the 33 is going to be back in the lead. It's the way the energy works. There's not enough energy from the truck in front really pulling sort of a gap here. There's just not, right? You see the 33 kind of dive down there and take the air off the 51. He's back to third in line. He'll be leading this race here in a couple of laps.
Riding along board with Mike Rigney, the host with the most. He's the host of this league. Want to thank him for putting it together. But currently in 8th spot. Looking ahead, and you're right, man. There is very little visibility that you can barely see through the truck ahead of you.
You can't. So when you go through the corners in this thing, and they're about to encounter a lap truck, but when you're going down a straightaway, really your only contact with reality is the double yellow line. That's what you're looking at. If you're on the bottom, if you're on the top, your frame of reference is the wall because you can't see anything. And I think you see Michael Gray popping out there just so he can see where he's going, which is fairly common. It's fairly common. Now, again, the lap truck up here can have some influence over who leads the next lap. We should see him pop out toward the wall.
This is Ron Hacker, I believe. Or no, not Ron Hacker. Who is this next truck? Wagner? Yeah, it's Wagner.
No, but didn't I say that Valenzuela would be leading in a couple of laps?
Yes, you did.
So Valenzuela the lead. The other thing, if you're still on board with Michael Gray, is you got to be really careful. Again, the line down there is your frame of reference. That's your reference. However, you got to be really careful. He just hit the apron.
Apron bad.
Apron is very bad. It is flat. Banking at Daytona is very steep. That to very steep will turn you around very, very fast. So you got to be really careful to not hit that in the wrong way. You really have to be careful getting too low, and it's really hard because again you can't see. So you're trying to just basically, if you can see, there's a crease in the hood, and I always like to try to put the crease in the hood. There, you hit it again. You want to try to kind of put the crease of your hood just right on the edge of that outermost double yellow line, kind of like a gun sight. Almost.
Okay.
Maybe it doesn't, but that's what I try to do.
I want to have with Matt Wagner. He pitted from the lead and now is a lap down. Maybe he lost track of the draft and was just maybe playing it safe in the back, expecting maybe another big yellow to happen. It just never developed. And he's now a lap down.
Possible. Now, theoretically, if you've just pitted, Mike could be able to make it to the end. Of course, if you're a lap down, that's not going to work. But who knows? He could have had damage. He could have overheated. It's entirely possible because he was up at the front. He was up at the front mixing it up too, Gary.
Yep.
No, that would be a question to ask, man. Good guy, by the way.
I was going to bring him into the booth, and we can't move people right now. So we'll get that fixed for the next race. But yeah, he finished second last night in the Dark Horse DW12 series. They're running their season 7, showing up. We'll be seeing it Sunday nights here on Race First going forward. A good race at Kansas, but he had a shot there at the end. But just the bottom line at Kansas in an Indy car is just the OP line. But right now we're watching Cristobal Valenzuela, Christopher Reagan, Lionel Callisto, Lewis Hayes, Michael Gray, Dean Mall. Your top 6, 2x2x2. We're more than halfway here at Daytona. ISRA Truck Series, thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Click the bell for future reminders of other Race First iRacing programming, and we got tons of it.
Do indeed. You can watch tomorrow night and see yours truly attempt to navigate an Indianapolis car around Michigan, which is always a lot of fun. The SOF tonight, I ran a race tonight, Gary. I don't know if you want to talk about it. I ran a race tonight in Pocono. Strength of field for that race was 5,026. I would expect that we're going to see something similar tomorrow. Those boys all love to run Michigan, and so
oh yeah.
I would expect to see something similar. It's going to be a heck of a good show. I'm going to try not to wreck your car this time. I'm 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 in the last 4 days.
And then Thursday night you'll be racing again. You'll be at Pocono?
Yes, absolutely at Pocono for the elite race. We're going to do that one, the Tricky Triangle, and then I believe Friday night. I'll be in a truck race at. Where's that?
Busy week. Busy week.
Yeah, busy week. I have the Race First truck at Vegas, which is going to be really similar to this actually for about 20 laps. These trucks can basically.
These trucks, I will say, at certain mile and a halves are a lot of fun, and they don't necessarily pack race the entire time because the tires eventually give up. You can and the line moves up high. You could still pack race, but the line down, you can no longer use the bottom line. Now, if you take care of your tires and late in the run, you can kind of scoot past everybody. That was kind of my experience in a truck league one time at Kansas. I took care of my tires, and then late in the run, I was using the bottom to scoot by people. That was fun.
You know, funny you mentioned that. I took the Race First truck to Kansas for an elite racing league event last night and did exactly that. Just kind of saved my stuff, and we were up in the top 10 and got ruined in a late race for Fluffle. But yeah, I mean, these things are an incredible amount of fun, especially on a mile and a half oval. It's kind of what they were designed for. Think of a cup car with a much bigger greenhouse and a lot more drag. And if memory serves, these things have more power than a cup car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot more drag to them. Yeah.
So a lot more drag. They've got a lot more power. They might even make more downforce, tell you the truth.
I think they do.
The truth. Now they don't have the underbody that a cup car
does.
No,
not the current ones, not the next gen cars.
Right, but they do make a large amount of grip.
Callisto to the outside. He decided he was just gonna take that and move right on up there.
Did you see the shot that the 888 gave the 33 there?
Yeah, that was a solid connection.
I was waiting. I was waiting on Cristobal to turn that thing sideways. That is almost.
Let's pop in with Michael Gray and see how he is handling here. Boy, you cannot see at all.
No, but you can. Literally, your only connection with reality is the yellow. I would love to know what his water temperature is right now, to be honest with you, because he is all over the back of Valenzuela. Oh, you and I are used to an electronic dash that displays everything precisely. In these things, the gauge. Whoa! We got Valenzuela going spinning.
Great save of Valenzuela. He gets him back in line. Little people let him back in.
Holy mackerel, Gary, how did he save that?
I don't know, but a great save. And he just moves him back to about 7th now, 8th now. George Anzaldo moves down in front of him there in the 6th.
Man, he went down and gave the grass a nice shave through the tri-oval at Daytona. Never took his foot out of the gas. Comes back out.
I don't know. Does Toyota sell lawnmowers? I don't know. I don't think they do. Maybe not here. Maybe in Japan they do, but I don't know.
Well, to be fair, does Japan really have enough grass to require it? Everything there is a 90-story skyscraper. I don't even know if they have yards. You know what I mean? But Honda does. I have a Honda. An incredible save nonetheless.
44 of 70. I guess now, I don't want to jinx anything, but when are we looking at pit stops? Everyone stopped at about lap either 21 or 27, thereabouts.
So they're on the edge. Really on the edge. They might be able to make it. They're going to be within 5 laps either way. I didn't get a good fuel reading. That's my fault. Bad.
That's
analyst.
okay. I'm looking at the overlay. The overlay actually said because Cristobal apparently crossed enough to make the sim think that he was pitting. Cristobal is actually 2 laps on his current stat.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, the other thing is, you really have to ask these guys because the fuel reading is vastly different in the pack like they're running as opposed to by yourself.
Right.
So you and I could have gone out and turned laps and data would have been. It's like if you look at Cristobal now, he's probably only running around 2/3 throttle. You don't have to run full throttle to draft 38 blinking up front. But
there goes Callisto and Cristobal. That's a scheduled pit stop. This is their, hopefully, I'm thinking their last stop of the day. So they're probably going to come in fuel only. We will watch Callisto. He was among the leader coming down pit road, hopefully not speeding, hitting his marks. You do not see him going up on he's going up on Jack, so he is going to change tires.
So here's another thing that's different. You know, you mentioned in-car tools. They don't have weight jackers. They don't have anti-roll bars. They don't have any of that. You know what else they don't have? Pit speed limiters.
Yeah, everything's via RPM, yeah.
And so
I think Cristobal sped.
Well, he went up on the jacks, but I think he sped, and that's going to spell the end not just for him.
For Callisto, because Callisto was going to be his partner coming out.
So now Callisto, this was kind of the same thing that you've seen Trace and I pull how many times at Talladega.
Mm-hmm.
Right at the beginning of the window, and then just stay on the lead lap. Well, that's what. I don't have a drafting buddy. Doesn't work, and unfortunately for Lionel Castillo, drafting buddy sped on pit road. So now poor Castillo, he's out there by himself. Remember, 5 seconds a lap. Now he's got some help. He's gonna have some help. He's got Hugo Galez a couple of seconds behind him. Hugo is eventually going to be able to close that gap, I think.
Yeah, we're watching him right now. So Dean Mall is now Dean Mall gets the lead at the line that time on the high side, and right with him is Big George.
Yeah, if you can. Here's the other thing. You recall the saying from Indianapolis: if you can see him, he's helping you.
Yeah.
Well, Hugo can see Lionel in front of him, so they're going to be connected here in a couple of laps, and then it's just going to be on Hugo to push like that. Back to the front though.
So watching the first 6 cars, 5 were on a lead lap. Wagner a lap down. He would like to get to the front and probably get up there and then get a caution, get a chance to drive all the way back around.
He would be the lucky dog candidate. There are 4 cars that are circulating laps down.
Yeah, and he's the first car 1 lap down, and then Hacker 2 laps down, his lead car 2 laps down, Valenzuela now 2 laps down, and then Hugo Gallas 3 laps down. Hugo has caught up with Callisto, and they are going to start working together here.
You don't really have much of a choice.
No, they don't.
Your friends right there, where you find them.
Well, and then they don't look in the rearview mirror. I mean, the guys are only 4 seconds behind them, and you're saying how many seconds a lap you said is difference?
It's 5 seconds. Now, here's the thing. Hugo Gallas is absolutely pushing Nets out of Lionel Castillo. I mean, they're well together. Still 5 miles an hour slower than that. Gallas comes off at turn 2 at 176 miles an hour. Lewis Hayes came off at 180.
Yeah.
Like,
there they are.
Still that much slower. And now the bad news is for Gallas and Castillo is those guys are getting sucked.
So what do you do now if you're Castillo? You want to stay on the lead lap, just try to work with Gallas and stay on the bottom and make him go around you? Make this whole field go around you?
No, I mean, you got to pull the thing up to the top, let the field go by, and just race Wagner for the lucky dog at this point.
Okay. All right.
Because unless there's a caution, staying on the bottom.
Oh, Wagner getting up to the front now.
Staying on the bottom is a lot more risky. To be fair. I mean, you want to hold your line no matter what you do, but on the bottom is a lot more risky. Oh, contact. 38. Clip.
Yeah, that's Lewis Hayes.
And Michael Gray. They gave each other some donuts going down the back over there.
Okay, so it looks like both Hayes coming in. We have Goodman coming in. We have Hacker coming in.
I'm going to tell you what, if the 29 or 28 or whoever that was got slowed down over there, that's going to be a miracle. If Michael Goodman got slowed down, that's going to be the miracle.
Callisto actually got out of the way, but now he's back in line. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on Goodman and Hayes there. Goodman in the box. Hayes in the box. He's done in a way. Goodman done in a way. So no penalties on those stops. And now these two need to get together. These two need to get together and work together.
You're going to be okay. There's maybe only a second between them. They're going to be back together in a lap.
I got more coming to pit road, I think. Christopher Reagan. By himself. Yeah.
So he's relying on a really hot pit in and pit out so that he can link up with the guys that just pitted there. He's going to need... is he going up? He's not.
Let's go back to... and we're watching right now the front of the field as more cars are going to pit. To 12 is not the leader. He is 1 lap down. Actually, he is actually on the very end of the lead lap. He's the very tail end.
That's good for Lionel Castillo, right?
Right, because that makes him the first car 1 lap down. Here come the other cars in. I believe Dean Mall in that true, and Josh Tucker. Tucker sliding into the wall on pit road. I don't know if we're going to get a caution out of that. Dean Mall under the speed limit, looks like he is coming to his stall. If he hits it all square, boom, on all 4 right there. Good stop for him. Up on the jacks. Whatever fuel he needs to get to the finish. New tires. Down. And away. Great stop by Dean Mall. Meanwhile, back up front, B80, that 888 there of Michael Gray is your leader. Drew White is P2. More cars splitting off. Trying to get the camera on those guys.
I will say this.
Sam Crow. Go ahead.
I'll say this, Gary. Josh Tucker, great IndyCar driver, good friend of mine. Just simply locked up the rear tires on the pit road and just just whips him around, and that's really easy to do. You get down on the apron down there. It's not clean. You know, make it look easy, but it's not. It is very slippery down there, especially when you get down on the apron. You get to pick up on your tires. You're trying to brake in a straight line as fast as possible. And it's very easy to lock the rear tires up, and it just whips you around. And poor Josh, you know, he wound up spinning it. But I don't know, you know, looking through this field, I don't know. There's definitely a school of thought that says stop as soon as you can stop, put a group together and go. The problem is I don't see any groups on the track any bigger than 3 other than the leaders, right? There's a group led by Michael Goodman, and then you've got Dean Mole and Chris Valenzuela running around, and then you've got Crow and Rigney a couple of seconds ahead of them, but they're out of drafting range almost, and they're pushing pretty hard. Going to be interesting to see which strategy prevails, because again, the bigger pack, we got more coming.
Okay, more guy. Here comes your leaders. All the leaders are coming in now. George lighting them up, getting slowed down. I think everybody got to the line and got down to the speed limit. Wagner got in there really deep. He's got a big lead on everybody on pit road. He can't remember. He's at the tail end of the lead lap. These are all final stops. 13. We got 13 to go. Yeah. And the 51 of Drew White is away. And right with him is David Rodriguez. Chris Fowler is now the leader in the 20. Fowler last stopped at lap 33. Or excuse me, last stopped at lap 24. 33 laps on this current stint. He's been back in the pack for most of the time, so he could have been, you know, at, I mean, what do you think? 75% power most of the time?
I mean, you can keep up at half power. The thing is, I don't know that he's got anybody to pit with. And so, Chris, again, great driver. I've raced with him quite a bit. You got Fowler, you got Hacker, but I think Fowler is the only person in that group that hasn't stopped.
Right. Now, all those other cars around him, Hacker, Callisto, Gallez, Tucker, they're all at the tail end of the lead lap.
So he's going to have to stop at some point soon.
And this is it. This is it right here. Getting his car slowed down. There's the cones. Did he get there? Pretty close. We'll see when he hits his box. That means right now then, the leader, if he should pick it up from Fowler in the pits, is going to be Rigney. Fowler in his stall. 7.3 in the box. Down and away.
So here comes that group led by Mike Rigney. They're coming off of turn 4 right now. It takes about a lap to get these things wound up. Chris Fowler, do it.
But he's going to be by himself. So,
well, even if they pass him, the worst he's going to do is be 5th here, because he's just going to go to the tail end of the next group that catches him.
Here they come.
I don't think he's going to be able. You're not going to be able to block it.
Oh, and check out the group even further back. They're trying like mad to get organized right now. They realize if they don't, it is race over with almost 10 laps to go. Fowler, your leader. He's down. I'll just get freight trained now by Rigney. Rigney on the high side along with Crow, Rodriguez, and White. So Rodriguez, drive of the night, guys. Lap 1 was mowing the infield grass. Lap 60, 10 to go. He is in P3.
Yeah, so Chris Fowler may not be able to hang on to the back of this group. Maybe he could now. Group. Now we got a yellow.
Lewis Hayes is backwards. Where are we? Turn 2. Let's see what happened.
Just at the exit.
Exit of pit road there. Let's see what happened here for him. Oh, it just A little help from the 888. Goes up high, wants to come down, not there. 888 was in there in the hole. Comes around. And, well, boys, what do you do now? Stay out, I would imagine.
There's no point. If you've got enough gas to make it to the end, Gary, there's no point in stopping here. You got 10
Yep.
laps to go now. You have 7 to go. Probably 7 to go when you go back green, 6 to go. No point in pitting. It is what it is now. Rigney's going to lead from Crow and Rodriguez.
I did not remember checking the rules because it's just so out of the ordinary for me. Maybe you can. Do we have green white checkers?
Well, funny you mentioned that. NASCAR does it. You get 3 attempts. Who know? I mean, I don't know. I didn't check the league rules either.
If you look under rules under if you change your cameras and stuff in game, I think that the rules tab there will tell you, or there's the info tab. And also tell you tire limits and all the conditions.
Tire limits.
Tire limits is 4.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about green white checkers.
Truck racing with kind of a hybrid IndyCar rules.
Maybe.
Well, there should be a red flag at this point, shouldn't it? Oh, it's too soon. Too soon. Too soon.
Let's not do that. It's kind of funny. I don't know what you were doing when the red flag came out in Indianapolis a couple of years ago, but the people in A stand were not very happy with it.
No, I was not. Actually, I was not. I was not happy with the red flag. And I'm a big Newgarden fan. I mean, we just named our new dog Joseph. That's something how much we like Joseph Newgarden. But that was not very fair for Marcus. He should be a back-to-back 500 winner, really. But
and that's very true. People, the public was not happy with that. And to be fair, IndyCar is about the last kind of racing organization left without any gimmicks.
Yeah. It's the Indianapolis 500. Decide it in 500 miles. You know what? Dario Franchitti, all 3 of his wins came under caution. One of Mears came under caution, I believe. So, there's no rule to guarantee that you can get all your finishes under a green flag. That's just racing. That's called racing. So I'm not for the red flag. Now, if the red flag came out maybe with 20 to go or something like that, a little bit further from the end where we're not artificially creating a gimmick, then maybe I'd have been a little bit more approving of the red flag. But with that soon to the end, no, that Marcus Ericsson should be a 2-time Indy 500 winner.
Well, and here's another popular one that people that are in favor of green white checkers never want to talk about. Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s Daytona 500 win. It's under yellow.
Yeah.
And ironically, the green white checker came about because the fans at Talladega rioted because Jeff Gordon was ahead of Dale Jr. by what, a nose when the caution came out?
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. The thing that I say to the people that detract from Dario Franchitti for having, wins that all finished under yellow and one of them rain shortened. Well, Dario's face is on the trophy 3 times and he got the money, so what does it really matter?
Right.
His face is on the trophy and he got the money. It doesn't matter. He won a race, and it's 500 miles. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you get there. It could be less, depending on.
All right, boys, here we go. The top 13 are all going to line up nose to tail. They're all on the lead lap. Wagner, Hacker, Valenzuela are all not on the lead lap. Actually, Wagner, Hacker are on the same lap, 1 lap down. Cristobal Valenzuela, who did a heck of a job leading very much the early portions of this race, or among the leaders, 2 laps down. Hugo Gallas, 3 laps down. 17 trucks still running, 19 started the race. We have 13 still on the lead lap. We're going to come down, take the green this time with 7 to go. Oh.
Here's what I'm thinking, Gary. I'm wondering who's going to be the first car to make it 3 wide on the top. That's what it's going to take. That's usually what it takes to win one of these things. Who's going to be the first car to make it 3 wide on the top? It's not going to be, obviously it's not going to be Rigney or Crow, but of Rodriguez, White, Fowler, Goodman, Reagan, Alonso, and Tucker, who's going to be the first truck? I'll give you 20 cents. Get out of my salary.
Yeah, my jar's full.
Who's going to be the first one that jumps up there and makes it 3 wide? Because if you do that, you're either going to win a race or you're going to be the first one crashed. Those are the 2 options when you do that.
Well, we saw a very aggressive start by Michael Gray on the last restart, and he took it 3 wide. Maybe we see it again. Here we go. Watch the 888 behind the blue car in the left line on the red car. Here he goes. There he is.
Oh, my golly. They got 4 wide there.
And I don't know if we're going to go caution again. Yes, we go caution again.
And that's kind of the thing. That's something that a lot of NASCAR leagues actually don't allow. You're not supposed to change lanes before you get to the line. So what's the definition of a lane? As you know, I admin the Elite Cup series, and that would have been a penalty. Can't really change lanes like that.
Let's take a look at it. I mean, he got a good jump.
Oh, if you're the 888, if you're Michael Gray, you're kind of laying back a little bit right there. You watch him.
Let's watch it. Here we go. I'm in a blimp view. Let's watch it.
Watch him. He's anticipating. He sees the green come out, then he turns it up to the very
and
top.
I got the. Do it again. Had the grandstand kind of got in the way there, but we'll watch it one more time. Yeah, actually, they just kind of ran out of room there in the tri-oval. Got 4 wide. It's about as the extent of the width of the tri-oval.
And you got a little bit of net code there between. George. A little bit of net code there between George and 44. That's Tucker. Not a lot. Again, the onus there has to be on the truck changing lanes before you get to the finish line. Generally not supposed to do that, but again, open wheels, that's legal. We race as soon as the green comes out.
Right.
So I can't really fault Michael for that. That's
I'm not faulting him either. I just noticed that he was aggressive on the last restart, and he obviously is a man with a plan on these restarts, and that's where we got a chance to watch him. But I don't fault him at all. I mean, when I was racing in the Lionheart IndyCar series, or not the IndyCar series, but the Speedway series, I was at a race at Pocono, and we took the green, and the 2 rows in front of me, 2 rows worth of cars, for some reason left the right side open. Well, that's 4 positions for me. And I snuck right into it, and someone else came with me. I forget who it was, and then they pulled down on me, and I tried to go down a little bit, and I think I smacked wheeled with them, and then I smacked the wall a little bit, and then I just basically took out my right side pod for the remainder, and I even crossed the start-finish line by this point. So I just knocked off my right side pod with still 300 miles to go. That was a boring race. That was an awful boring race, but I'm trained to see if there's a hole there, go for it. Especially if I haven't crossed the start-finish line, if I'm passing on the right side, because it's legal.
Right, and that's the thing. So Michael Gray, this was an IndyCar race, just made a spectacular start. NASCAR rules technically didn't change lanes because he was still on the top, but the other thing is, if you kind of notice, he laid back a little bit.
Yes.
He laid back a little bit. In a restrictor plate stock car race or stock truck race, as it may be.
Someone got in trouble for that at Daytona. I forget who it was, but they had to come in for a what would have been a drive-through, and it just so happened that before they could serve it, a real caution came out, and then they were able to serve it, I guess, under the caution or something. But I forget who it was, but I did see that there was someone at Daytona in I think it was a Cup Series that got a run on somebody and they gave him a penalty.
It wasn't just Gray doing it. Tucker was doing it too. But that extra 100 RPM or 150 RPM or whatever it is that you get from that is incredible. Those two would have been leading a race. If they'd have made it work, they'd have been leading a race off of two. I mean, it's that powerful.
Well,
because these things take forever to wind out.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go green with 3 to go. Rigney, your leader, Sam Crow P2. Rodriguez P3, Drew White P4, Chris Fowler P5, Goodman 6th, Reagan 7th, Callisto 8th, Dean Mall 9th, Lewis Hayes 10th. We'll watch this restart as they reform here, going through Daytona turn 2 and down the back stretch. Yeah, I really had no idea. These guys have slugged it out pretty cleanly for the most part. We've had a couple incidents that I don't think any of the incidents has anything to do other than with just hard racing. I don't think anything dirty or nefarious is going on. But they've slugged it out all night long. 17 cars are still running. 19 started this.
Don't know that any one of them that hasn't used a fast repair doesn't have a clean nose yet. they've been using the bump draft pretty good. Which
here comes Michael Gray. He's speeding. Whoa! Yeah, they're not the same grippy. He's getting to a spot here because I think he can move up there. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have as grippy brakes as you normally would on an open wheeler. But he is now in formation. We are getting ready to decide a winner here. The first round of the ISRA Truck Series at Daytona next week, Atlanta. Another 125 miler.
Down in the restart, Pace Truck is going to make the hard left on a pit road. Mike Rigney, your leader. He is going to have the 8 of Sam Crow to his outside. Away we go. Green flag is out. Racing resumes at Daytona. We have 3 to go.
So Rigney and Crow did a good job at bringing them down slow and grouping that group up. Rodriguez took a look to the inside. Fowler take a look at the inside. There's nowhere to go there. It's getting some wind on the front of their nose there. The bottom line is the better line at the moment, but I think that top line is going to get charged up here. Car out of line. That's Fowler. See if he can get back in before they get up on the banking. All right, good job.
He does. Yes, he does.
And look who's to the lead. David Rodriguez.
He was crashed earlier. He was a lap down. What a beautiful job.
Oh, they're wrecking behind. George.
George is wrecking.
And this might decide. I don't know if we have a green-white checker. This might decide it, so keep going. Actually, if it's yellow, it's yellow. There's no racing back to the stripe. But racing back to the stripe is Rodriguez.
We got one green-white checker, Gary.
One green-white checker.
I'm going to take leave of you for just a couple of moments, and I will be right back.
Well, let's take care of some business while he's taking care of some business. Thanks again for everybody joining us tonight. If you're watching this, you are watching Race Versus coverage of round 1 of the ISRA Truck Series. Coming to you from Daytona, where David Rodriguez is currently your leader, scored as your leader. He was wrecked or not wrecked, but knocked into the infield grass on the very first lap. Went a lap down, now is back at the front. That definitely deserves a hitting the like button, especially on behalf of David here. Hit that like button. In fact, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it on the next race. Also, hit the bell so you don't miss out on future Race Verse programming. And don't forget your commentary team by sending a donation via our GoFundMe campaign. The link is in the description. We certainly would appreciate it. But yeah, please donate. It'd mean a lot to us if you could. And Wagner going to get back on the lead lap. He's been trying to earn that one back for a while. Not sure what happened to him. We'll probably have to talk to him in the Discord after to find out what happened.
He's got a chip in a chair, Gary, and that's all that matters. He's got a chip in a chair. Huge wreck can develop at any point here. We've got one shot at a green-white checker. They get back to the white. There's no caution.
Right.
So we've seen many an iRace where they get back to the white and pandemonium breaks out, and a guy running 17th winds up winning a race.
Mm-hmm.
So you're on a lead lap. You got a shot here. Just give me a chip and a chair. That's all I want.
Well, pretty much everybody in this lead pack's going to have a shot, especially if calamity happens, and they can avoid it. Fowler up 15 spots. Reagan up 12 spots. Those are your big gainers for the night. Rigney up 9. Rodriguez started on the pole. He's back where he's regained all that lost track position. Took him almost 70 laps to do it. We are not going green this time by. Lights are still on the pace truck.
One more time by. Gives everybody up here just one more chance to kind of plot their strategy.
I guess, my take and actually the last NASCAR race I was in a green-white checker situation. I hate green-white checker, but I was in one, and I was like 6 car. I worked my way up to 6. I was on the bottom, and my strategy was just keep it on the bottom, and if the bottom line moved or the car in front of me moved, just suck up to the next car that was in line and just work my way up. And sure enough, by the time on the restart we get to the backstretch, the car in front of me that goes up to the top line, I suck right up to the car now who is in second. I'm in third, and by the time we came around to get the checkered flag, I think I finished 4th in that race, my one and only Daytona 500. Ironically, it's where I finished my fixed Indy 500 with too. I just realized that, but my first and only 500-mile NASCAR race in what we consider a cup car back then, not the next gen car. Finished 4th, started the restart 6th. So I just basically held my line and I said I'm going to go forward from here and hope that if there's anybody that wrecks, they're going up the track and not coming down the track. Or blocking the track in front of me.
Well, and that's the thing. The bottom is probably the easiest place to avoid the accident, because at these kind of tracks, even though it's got high banks, everybody's going so fast they all spin to the top. So you've got the best chance to avoid it on the bottom. But the top is probably going to be the place to be in terms of momentum. So it's usually the top. If it's going to be 2 laps, it's usually going to be the top that's going to come back around and nib it at the line. So this will be interesting to see.
George Enzaldo says apologies for his lack of talent tonight.
I would never accuse George of having a lack of talent.
Well, we do want to shout out George for putting up with everybody for that last season of Lionheart. George taking a much needed sabbatical from Lionheart competition this season. Not Lionheart competition, just Lionheart administration taking a sabbatical. Good on him. Come back strong. Meantime, we're going to have fun here with the ISRA and these a lot of ex-Lionheart guys going green. We're going to decide a winner one way or another here. Rodriguez on the bottom, Rigney on the top. Green flag. We're back underway.
Good restart. Good restart. They're pretty even. Bottom's going to have the advantage going down the short chute into 1. We've already got 1 trying to make it 3 wide up top. Doesn't have any help though. 1 trying to make it 3 lanes. That would be Drew White up there. But here we go. Bottom is clear. A good push from the 8. Push from the 8 on the top. Kind of weaving back and forth, trying to figure it out. And now we're going to see a drag race. They're almost back. You're going to have a huge run from Tucker on back. You're going to have a huge run from Tucker on back, sucking up to the top. Bottom is more organized at this point. They're going to come back and get the white as soon as...
Oh, there
no,
it is.
No. There's the yellow. Who's the winner?
19, the 19, Reagan.
Oh. Christopher Reagan made it through that mess. He's going to win a race. He's going to be followed by Michael Goodman, Dean Mole, and Josh Tucker. Your top 4. Ron Hacker rounds out your top 5. I would love to see the in-car from Christopher Reagan right there.
Well, let's do that. Let's go right to his in-car. This is what it looks like. We'll actually back it up just a little bit further as they go through corner 4.
So you're watching him come off. He's got Chris Fowler right in front of him. You can't really see. Fowler's going to give a shot to Rodriguez. Rodriguez is going to get turned loose. Where Reagan turns it left and wins the race. Hit the pace truck. Just hollow anyway.
And it's Rodriguez can see which is going to be the white flag in front of him.
Yeah,
the 31 almost cleared it. Goodman, or was it Goodman? Yeah, they're in the Miller High Life. He had a clear path there that he got through. Let's watch from his point of view. Here goes everybody. Goes right to the bottom. Wow.
Didn't I tell you, Gary?
Goodness gracious.
Right.
And Christopher Reagan now crossing the start-finish line. Flip the checkers is your winner of round 1 at ISRA Truck Series Daytona 125.
Good for him. That was one of the
up 16 spots there for Reagan.
Sir, well done for Christopher Reagan. Well done for Drew White. We hadn't really talked about him a whole heck of a lot. He comes home second. Sam Crow been up there all day. He's third. Lionel Castillo lost his drafting partner in a pit stop cycle. He's fourth.
Goodman fifth.
I was going to say, Castillo was a lap down.
Yeah.
Too long ago. Josh Tucker sixth. I don't think there's a straight panel left on that truck. Ron Hacker seventh. Lewis Hayes eighth. Michael Gray ninth. Matt Wagner brings it home 10th. Rodriguez from the lead to 11th on the last lap. Unfortunately, Mike Gray 12th. Mole, Fowler a lap down. Gustavo Valenzuela, after having led much of the event, is going to be 18th. Hugo Gallas 16th. George Alonso 17th. Richie Hearn and Alex Guyon out of the race 18th and 19th, respectively.
Unfortunately, I don't think we can bring anybody up to the booth. But Reagan, we'll have to get him some other time. I don't know if we could bring him from the general chat. We'll try.
Well,
nope, I can't. I'm trying.
We can move him to the waiting room, but we can't move him to the broadcast.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have an idea, Gary. I'll be right back.
We'll see if we can get something here to go to bring the winner in. If not, we'll have to. He can put his winning comments there in the Discord.
Gary, give me 30 seconds.
All right. And while we're waiting, just a reminder, thanks for everybody that stuck it out with us. Make sure to click like and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell, share it with a friend, help the algorithm. Don't forget, we got IndyCar action tomorrow night, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. IndyCar Oval Series top split. Then later in the week, we'll be doing the Indy Open Series, crowning a winner there at Pocono on the top split at 2 o'clock, or 1 o'clock now on Saturday. Don't forget time change coming up for all the official races. Official races are going to be moved back an hour later. 7:15 split becomes 8:15 time, and the 1 o'clock start normally for the Indy Open that we cover becomes 2 o'clock. All right, Mark.
So I was unsuccessful. Unsuccessful. Unable to move him into the booth. I thought if I moved him to AFK, I could then move him to the booth. But unfortunately, we can't move anybody. I can't move anybody into the booth.
We'll get it fixed for next race. Well, in that case, though, your thoughts. I mean, I to me, this was a very stereotypical. It's not restrictor plate, but just NASCAR track, NASCAR. In terms of pack racing, just a typical NASCAR plate racing. But I do like the stories that we saw. I like to see. I feel bad that David Rodriguez didn't win this thing because he was coming to the white flag, but he could see it as it was being presented to him, and he got taken away from him just literally in the last couple of feet. But the way that he fought back, a number of guys fought back from adversity here. And a lot of that sometimes has to do with the fast repair, but some of the guys, did it kind of without the fast repair and then had to use one later, whatever. But still, they were able to kind of recover and get back in this. I liked seeing that. The good portions in the middle was some really good, clean racing. I like seeing that. But just in the end, it kind of became another typical NASCAR pack race, and I don't necessarily like seeing that, but. I hope really the point of the league is everyone to have fun, and I really hope that everyone had fun. It was fun to watch. I will say that.
I had fun. And I'm also going to say this, and I'm going to take a different track here. I think it's a credit to the skill level and the dedication of these drivers, who many of whom are among the absolute best in the business in cars without fenders, that they can come put fenders on and immediately become very, very good stock car drivers. That this was a typical stock car race is a credit to them, because they did everything right. They did everything that you would typically see in an elite racing league event or in a road to pro event, where they were bump drafting, they were moving lines, they were side drafting. There was tactics deep in the pack that allowed guys to move back and forth. It was incredible to watch, and that's a credit to them. It's a credit to their skill level. Even though they don't race these cars very often, or these trucks very often, or even I wouldn't be surprised if it was the first time that some of them had touched a truck at all. But to see them do that at that level is a credit to their skill, and that's what I'll leave.
Well said. Well said. So we're going to wrap it up there right here. Let's get on out of here. Give everyone back the remainder of their Monday nights. That's it for tonight. Once again, your podium from Daytona. Christopher Reagan survives and gets the win. Drew White follows him on through. So is Sam Crow. Top three right there. Join me and Mark again next week for round 2 of the ISRA Truck Series as the teams and drivers head to Atlanta. Coverage this season begins around 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, that's 8:55 p.m. Eastern. And as always, you can find everything you need right here at YouTube at youtube.com/RaceFirst. Now, as you know, we've talked about the algorithm game. It's not easy, so please help support RaceFirst with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you'll miss out more of RaceFirst's other iRacing programming, including the weekly IndyCar Oval Series Top Split. 7:15 on Tuesdays. Keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. RaceFirst, we know what Indy means, and sometimes we also know a little bit about trucks. For business inquiries and learn more about what we do, visit racefirst.com or like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. So, for Mark Murphy, everyone at RaceFirst, I'm Gary Gotzo saying to all, happy Monday night. Go enjoy yourselves. Thanks for watching, and to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, come home safe. Catch us again right here next week in Atlanta for the next race of the ISRA Truck Series. Good night.